Did we do it? I almost missed the button. Hey guys,
Hi.
welcome to Mike and Lauren Live. Tuesday nights, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, every Tuesday. We're here. Welcome to have you. Hey Greg, see you there already. I'm going to say hello in the chat room. There's a chat to the side of the video. If you'd like to talk to us, just type anything you want in there, and we'll say hello and answer questions. And actually tonight, I would like you to do that because tonight's show is what retirement means to us. And we have plans to make this video into a more concise one, but I want to get your opinion first on all the different definitions of what it means to be retired. And is this off?
I already
It is.
did it.
She muted it. And well, all the definitions of what it means to be retired, or what's the difference between retirement and financial independence. Are they synonymous? That's what we're going to be talking about tonight. And we'd like your input so that when we make the video, we have your guys'
more opinions.
Yeah, definitely. So let's start off by saying, what does it mean to be retired?
Well, should we start by why we have this all kind of put together into thoughts?
Yeah, go for it.
Back in September, we were asked to speak at FinCon, which we've mentioned a few times
The Financial
before.
Bloggers Conference.
Yes, Financial Bloggers Conference, which was in New Orleans, and this is kind of what we threw together. Just kind of what we thought about retirement, what it means, and all that good stuff.
Yeah. So we have, I would say, like 5 or 6 really good videos already scripted because of everything, all the research we did. We did research for like 3 or 4 weeks leading up to it and came up with a lot of cool stuff. So I scoured the internet basically and looked for all traces of definitions of retirement and financial independence. So real quick, let's share those, and then you can kind of let us know which ones resonate most with you, and then we'll let you know which ones resonate with us, and then answer a few questions about our future, that sort of thing. So financial independence versus retirement. Let's start with financial independence. There are basically 2 definitions. The first being financial independence by net worth. And this is when you have enough invested that the interest produced by that investment covers all of your living expenses. And it's usually expressed as, a certain number times your annual income, like 25 times your annual income. Your annual expenses. So if you need, is it $50,000 a year, you need $1 million in the bank. That's the first definition. The second definition takes into account passive income streams. So this is a popular option because it basically looks at things on a monthly basis instead of a total net worth basis. So you can buy things like businesses or real estate or things like royalties from music or books or things like that. Anything that generates a monthly income for you, if it's passive, then and it covers your expenses, then you could be considered financially independent based on this definition. Of course, that brings in to question what is passive and what is considered work.
Right.
With
If
real
you
estate,
like trading stocks, is that passive or not?
right? If you want to research all the companies that you invest in and you have your big nest egg and you're watchful of it, does that mean you're working on it? Obviously with real estate, that can either be a very hands-on business or a very hands-off if you hire management. So every definition is different for everybody, but those are just some things to consider. Which then brings us to retirement. And is it the same as financial independence or is it different? And as far as I can tell, there are 3 kind of general definitions. And the first is traditional retirement, which everyone kind of recognizes and knows as 65 years old, pensions, Social Security, and savings throughout your life.
Your golden years.
Your golden years. And that it's kind of what we all picture about retirement. Early retirement could be anything from, 30s to 60s. And it's interesting, I think it was J.D. Roth had an article, for the guy who started Get Rich Slowly, had an article where he basically outlined these 3 definitions. So I'll share his 3 definitions and then we'll kind of go from there. His was traditional retirement, and for him, early retirement meant the same thing as traditional retirement, but just 10 or 15 years earlier. So it wasn't kind of this new ideology that we kind of have, going around now. It's just traditional retirement a little bit earlier. He says semi-retirement is what we talk about and what we're kind of going for, where you have sufficient funds to cover your monthly expenses, but you may or may not pursue work after. And obviously this is just his definition, but he's been at this game for a long time, so definitely someone to trust on that. But Jacob, the
Early retirement extreme.
Early retirement extreme, kind of the father or grandfather of, you say father or grandfather of something? Kind of the grandfather of the extreme early retirement movement. Not that he was the first to do it, just he was the first blog I was aware of that I could find. There was one before that, but it wasn't really a blog. They were just selling their like CDs of information, believe it or not. So Jacob from Early Retirement Extreme says that retirement as a word is going to be dead in a generation or so. That it has just been so changed.
Which is interesting the way he points out that it's changed. That it used to be for our grandparents' generation that it was when they were more or less put out to pasture. It was
to be retired meant to be no longer
could work.
Right.
And then for our parents' generation, it has turned into this golden years on a beach with the pina colada type thing. But that the idea of retirement is going to change for our generation.
Our generation, it's going to change more into JD's definition of semi-retirement, and Jacob actually takes it a step further and says it's not going to be the semi-retirement thing. He says it's going to be those that have enough those that have enough assets to be considered financially independent, and those that don't. So he's saying he's seeing an even broader split of wealth and what's opposite of wealth? Poor? No. I don't know. Anyways, so those are the definitions that I came up with in our research for our FinCon speech. Now, where does that leave us? We honestly use the two terms interchangeably.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of what Jacob is talking about, but just to a less extreme extent. Like, just as the word retirement changed from our grandparents, meaning no longer able to work, to our parents, meaning your golden years, your chance to do everything you never had time for, it's just going to change for us. We're still going to have the word and the concept of retirement. It's just going to mean something different for us.
Right.
And for financial independence, to me, that means that you have enough income to cover your expenses from passive income sources. So I actually will accept either, whether it's through assets or real estate and business and things like that. And that's where the gray area. That's where we want your opinion. What is considered work? So we mentioned a couple examples. Does researching companies and stocks in the traditional retirement sense count? Obviously, real estate management, like doing property repairs, would probably definitely be considered work. But what if you just like researching property? Like, what if you really like getting to know a neighborhood and finding good deals and you truly enjoy that? Is that considered work? And at that point, are you not considered retired?
What if you like making YouTube videos?
What if you like to blog or vlog about early retirement? Is that considered work? So you have all of these people that are retired and early retired, but they're blogging about it. And it's a lot of hard work. So is that considered work? Are they out of retirement? So your opinions on that, what do you guys think? And Lauren posed an interesting question earlier while we wait for you guys to come in on that.
Yeah, well, I was saying to Mike, in a few years, if someone asks us, what do you do? What is our response going to be? Are we going to say we're retired, or are we going to say whatever it is that we're doing at the time, making videos or sailing the Mediterranean? What is our response going to be? And I don't know.
Mm-hmm. I think, I would imagine say we'd be retired.
I think so.
Yeah, and not having any shame in it.
Yeah.
Should there be any shame in saying you're retired at 31 or?
I don't think so.
No. And what do you consider work then?
What do I consider work? I think I consider work doing something that you don't, I guess I would say doing something that you don't want, doing something that you have to do is what I consider work. And if you don't have to do, I don't know if I'm making any sense. If I have to work to pay bills, then I think that's work. But if I'm doing something and I don't have to for money, I don't know.
Yeah. Greggy says, work is when you have to do something.
Okay.
That's it, exactly what Lauren was just saying.
Trying to.
I think you make a great point of retiring then working. However, I don't know if it will completely replace our definition. Retirement, because I get the sense that when people read blogs and watch your videos, your niche club, their population work hard enough. Yeah, that's true. I'm not sure about that. As far as having to do it, that's kind of how we ended our FinCon presentation. Was we said, for us, financial independence is the point at which we can choose to work when and how much. And that how much and when together is to me what makes financial independence, because or what you're doing, because right now I think you can do what you love. In fact, we both really like our jobs, and just because you love your job doesn't mean you want to do it every day 9 to 5. So it's that when and how much portion that I think is what really separates financial independence from just kind of loving life.
Right.
Right. And right on Lauren Gregg, he says, so you guys are on the same page. Going frugal and DIY is pretty hard for soccer moms and SUVs. I agree. It's definitely a group, but I think there's a lot of us. I mean, we at FinCon, Mr. Money Mustache actually revealed his statistics, and I cannot remember. I want to say 91 million
views
or something like that. Just ridiculous.
Crazy.
Financial independence is more to the point. Gary, or is it? Yeah, it's Gary. What do you mean by that?
Financial independence is more to the point.
Elaborate on that a little bit. I don't know what you mean by that. Meaning more to the point of retirement is more messy and complicated, and financial independence is more like, here's the hard line. You either have enough expenses or have enough invested or not. But then you have the whole work thing.
It would be less...
Is there less emotional baggage?
It'd be less confusion. If someone says, what do you do? And you're like, I'm financially independent. It's not saying I'm retired, but I'm working still, kind of. I don't know if you say
right.
I don't know.
I think Jacob actually uses the word capitalist. He's pretty proud of that word. He says, yeah, I'm a capitalist, because he use money to invest in other things.
Funny.
Yeah. So where did we end our FinCon? Oh, and then one other thing we said was just how great that it is that we have all these questions to ask, because even just the fact that we can debate this means that we have more options than ever. We can choose our own lifestyle that suits us best. Whereas just think about it, when retirement had these strict definitions, there were people kind of outside of the mold, but retirement basically meant retirement. You didn't really have the choice.
Well, and it's so great that we have the internet, and the bloggers and now vloggers coming into it, of being able to discuss this and to get other people's opinions. Because before, and this was a point you made also, how would you walk up to someone and get, find out that they're doing this without the internet? You don't just walk up and strike up a conversation with some random person and happen to be doing the same thing. It's
right. And there were people who... That's one thing I really like about Jim Collins, and I'm actually working on getting him on a live show. I can't say yes or no yet, but I have posed the question to him. I would like to do like a Skype Ask Jim Collins question. So a little teaser for you on that. But that is one of the reasons why I like Jim so much, is because he did it before, not only before anyone was really doing it, but before the internet was around. He was 3 full years before the internet was even invented.
He doesn't like that you say that.
yeah, dates him a little bit. But 3 years before the internet, as we know it, was invented, the World Wide Web, he was already financially independent. So that's insane to me, that to be able to do it without even just a person showing you the way.
Right.
And Gary says again, I mean, the retirement carries a lot of connotations of being idle. So yeah, there's two kind of emotional baggage that goes with that. Emotional baggage isn't the right word. I guess connotations is the word you used. That's perfect. That there's a lot, people assume you're going to be on a beach sipping pina coladas.
And that's, people hear the word retired, and it, again, in their head, that's what they envision. So it's easier for someone to comprehend the independence, financial independence.
Right. So that's what we had tonight. Like I said, we want to make this into a short video, because I think this will help some people with confusion, especially for us, because the extreme frugality thing is hard for people, because they don't understand, well, what do you mean? Like, even, in fact, actually someone asked me this week, they said, so after you save up this money, then how much money does that give you? And that's not very much, and stuff like that. So what, for us, does that mean when things like unexpected expenses
kids are asked a lot.
Kids are asked a lot. So for us, financial independence is the point at which our expenses will be covered, and we have the choice. If we want more luxury in our life, we could work, or we could not, or we kind of do whatever we want. So for independence is, for us, true financial freedom is the choice for us.
Right.
And I think that is where we'll end. We'll keep it short. But let us know. Yeah, keep making comments below if you have any other opinions, especially if you're watching this afterwards, of what you think the difference is. And when we make this new video, we'll be sure to include, we'll have little comments pop up on the bottom of everyone's opinion and kind of see where we land. So I think that's it.
I think that's it. Any
Housekeeping.
updates?
Housekeeping. We made the jewelry box with Lauren.
That was so much fun.
Yeah, that was
I
fun.
want to make more stuff.
Instructables featured that on their homepage, so that was pretty cool.
This week will probably still be a little bit crazy.
Yeah, so if Lauren is in less videos than normal, it's because she's working retail, so she has to work Fridays and Sundays. So we try and get things done on Thursday night so that she can be in them, but if we don't get to it or whatever. And I don't know what this week's video is. I'm not sure yet.
We'll figure it out.
Yep. Okay.
All right. Thanks for watching.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.